Rules in Microsoft Outlook are a great way to automate many tasks related to all the emails that you are getting, so that you don't have to manually move emails between folders or mark them with flags. In this video, we will show the basics of how to use rules in Microsoft Outlook. To start creating rules, simply click on the Rules button visible in the Move section of the Home menu when you are in your email inbox. This will open a drop-down list with a few options. The options above the line will depend on what item you have currently selected. The options below the line will be the same: Create Rule and Manage Rules. Let's start with the options above the line. What they say and do is dependent on what item you have selected in your inbox, but the common theme is that Outlook here suggests some basic rules that could be applicable to this particular email. Currently, I have selected a message from Lift Your Skill that was sent to liftyourskill@outlook.com. Consequently, Outlook suggests one rule to move messages sent by Lift Your Skill and another rule to move messages sent to liftyourskill@outlook.com. With Move, Outlook means to automatically move messages from your main inbox and store them in a selected folder. So if you pick the first option, to always move messages from Lift Your Skill, you will see a dialog letting you pick the destination folder. When you have selected the destination folder and clicked OK, Outlook creates a new rule and executes it on your currently selected email, so that its email disappears from the main inbox folder and shows in the folder you have selected. This rule will now be valid for all new emails from Lift Your Skill, so whenever a new email fulfilling the sender criteria comes, it will automatically be moved to the same folder. You can see the newly created rule, and of course all other rules if you have them, when you click on Rules, Manage Rules and Alerts. Here you can see how the rule is actually formulated. In the bottom part of the dialog, Outlook lists the criteria. The rule will be applied after the message arrives, and if it is from Lift Your Skill, it will be moved to the Lift Your Skill folder and no further rules will be processed. You can change the existing rules by marking the rule you want to change and clicking on Change Rule. This will open a long drop-down list with options. The options below the line are suggestions for additional actions that can be taken. For instance, if you select Display in the New Item Alert window, then you will be able to specify the alert text, and when you click OK, then a new action will be added to your rule. Additionally, please note that all actions that are already included in your rule are marked with blue background behind icons on the list that opens after clicking Change Rule. If you do not want to add any new actions to your rule but only change the settings for the existing actions, then you can simply click on the links in the particular actions in the bottom part of the window to change them. For instance, if you want to change the folder to which the messages should be moved to Very Important Stuff folder, then simply click on the Lift Your Skill link in the Move to Folder rule and pick Very Important Stuff from the list. Please note that in the Manage Rules and Alerts window you can also delete not wanted rules and copy rules. This can be usable in a case we will cover later in this video. You can also turn your rules on and off without deleting them by marking and unmarking them to the left. If none of the suggested rules is what you want to achieve, you can always create a rule from scratch. In order to do so, click on the Rules button and pick Create Rule. There again, Outlook will first display a window with some suggested criteria and actions, but if you want to see the full list of options, click on Advanced Options. In the first step, you will be able to specify the criteria for when the rule is supposed to be invoked. Here you have a broad list of choices, from criteria related to who sent the email, to conditions related to what that email is, for instance if it is an automatic reply, if the email has an attachment, to even criteria related to particular fields of the document or form behind the email. You can of course select more than one criterion, but please remember that all criteria will be treated with logical AND, which means that with each added criterion it will be more and more difficult to fulfill the conditions to have the rule activated. If you want to have multiple criteria with logical OR, then you simply have to create multiple rules. The easiest way to do this is to create a rule for one of the criteria and then copy it. Remember, you do it in Manage Rules and Alerts, and then simply adjust the trigger criteria for the copied rule. When you're happy with the conditions to activate the rule, click Next. In the second step, you can define what should happen when the rule is activated. You have various actions to choose from: to move the email to a specific folder, to delete it, to reply to that email, or flag it, or play a sound, or display an alert. As in the previous step, you can define more than one action, and these actions will be executed one after another. After specifying the actions for your rule, you can click Next to move to step 3, where you can define exceptions, which are additional conditions that can be checked by Outlook. And then, even if all the conditions for activating your rule are fulfilled, but also the exception conditions are fulfilled, then the rule will not be activated. As previously, also here you can specify more than one condition, but interestingly enough, these conditions are added with logical OR and not AND. When you are done with defining exceptions, click Next to move to the last step of creating rules. Here you have to first give your rule a name. Please use something descriptive so that you later can easily find that rule. You can also mark the first checkbox if you want this new rule to be run on emails already existing in your inbox. Leave this box unchecked if you want this rule to be valid only for new emails. The Turn on this rule checkbox is marked by default, but if you only want to create a rule but not activate it, then untick this box. When you are done with all settings, click Finish. We hope that this video has given you a good overview of the basics of working with rules in Microsoft Outlook. Check our other videos to learn more about various Office applications.